Oh, hey guys, it's Simon from RLM Motorsport. Today we have the Super Trofeo Cup. This is at Monza. So it'll be myself today commentating along with Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, Simon. It's good to be here this evening.
Yeah, good to see you, mate. We also have Jesse with us. Hello, Jesse. We don't have Jesse with us. We might come back to Jesse a bit, but we've got George with us as well. So hello, George.
Hello, Simon. I am here to respond to you at least.
Excellent. It's nice to meet you. And also, yeah, we've got Jesse. Jesse, you there yet, mate? Right, might have lost Jesse for a minute, but anyway, there is 4 of us today. So we've got Ryan, who's going to be the live stewarding. So if there is any incidents or anything, then he will be calling them out in the stream to let you guys know if we're going to give penalties to any drivers. So yeah, obviously we're at Monza today. So Super Trofeo Cup. It's going to be pretty awesome. We've got 29 cars on track, I believe it is at the moment. Double confirm that. So yeah, George, I mean, you've been sort of running these cars today, having a bit of testing. What's your thoughts on these on the Super Trofeo?
I find that they are definitely a little bit less punishing than the Cup car series. So I mean, it's a little bit of a different Cup car rundown using these ST cars. They do have traction control as well as ABS. I found that the traction control is definitely there to aid in the control of it versus the Porsche Cup car. But at the same time can be quite power sapping coming out of the corner. So it's going to be that balancing point between finding where you can bring down and trim on the traction control and really get the power down, and obviously not getting absolutely murdered by the back end coming around. But overall, I found that the car was pretty stable and quite fun to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've had to go in it myself, and when I was doing the poster and stuff. Yeah, definitely a fun car. And obviously, it can be a bit difficult later on with worn tyres and stuff. So we have a 15 minutes qualify after we've got 30 minutes of practice left, and then we have a 75-minute race. So we have one pit stop, and the pit stop is open to their strategy, so they can take tyres if they want to, or just do a splash and dash. It's entirely up to you. There's no limit when the pit window will be open, so they can literally pit at the very last lap if they really wanted to, depending on if fuel allows that. So yeah, so it should be in for quite an interesting race. Obviously, we're expecting T1 to be nice and clean. We can all obviously hope for this. I mean, we had Season 2, Round 1 at Monza in the rain, and we managed to get 30 cars through T1 without a single collision. So hopefully we can do the same here today. We've got a few new guys who's joined us in Redline today, so who's taking part in this event. So obviously we're going to be watching them and seeing. Hopefully they're going to be pretty clean drivers to obviously allow them to come on our waitlist, shall we say, for our main events. Yeah, so hopefully we're going to be in for a pretty good race. Fortunately, Jesse's not here at the moment. He's disappeared, so I think he might be having connection issues, bless him. So hopefully he can jump back in a minute. But yeah, Ryan, what's your thoughts on these cars?
Well, I think through previous commentary races that I've partaken in, I think it's no mystery to anyone that I absolutely adore Lamborghinis, and that doesn't change for these Super Trofeo cars. I think they're interesting. Well, I won't call them little cars, but they are interesting cars to say the least. Bit of a different variation to the Huracan car that we do see in the regular GT3 series or the GT World Challenge. So nice to see a variation of this car, and it's exciting to see these cars finally on the track after having commentated on almost 2 seasons of the Porsche Cup series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. I think it's going to be interesting.
Oh, there we go. So Jesse's in this chat actually as Ovac there. So he's just fun fact, I've just lost power. So we just lost one of our commentators due to power. So hopefully he can get himself back up and jump in the comments box in a minute. So not great to see, unfortunately. But obviously, yeah, unfortunately during this this time, obviously we're all sort of stuck at home. I mean, obviously we can see that Twitch servers and YouTube servers are having to deal with a lot more stresses with everyone being home and streaming. So hopefully if you guys do notice the streams are laggy, it is down to that. So my suggestion, if you are watching from YouTube, just keep pressing F5 a few times and hopefully it should refresh and give you a better link. And the same for Twitch as well, should hopefully help you there. But anyway, hopefully we're be on for a nice good clean race. So we've got 75 minutes of the race with one pit stop. So yeah, I mean, if this race goes well, then obviously we're definitely looking into running a championship with this the Super Trofeo Cup. So yeah, see how this goes.
I'm interested to see really how those pit strategies come in. I've never watched the Super Trofeo Cup car race. I think that the 75-minute mark gives a nice sort of extension to really see where the tires will get to. So I'm pretty excited to see how things go here. And like you touched on the cleanliness of T1, we have seen a lot of the RLM races have those clean race starts. So I'm not expecting anything too different. I think you have chatted to the drivers. They are well aware of, the consequences of having like a lap 1 incident, a T1 incident. So hopefully everybody comes in a little bit more sort of just prepared and mindful of other drivers. It just makes for a greater race experience for everybody else. And that's really why these kind of things are enforced. You don't want to ruin other people's races and their experiences here. And yeah, I think that it's just going to be a good, fun event to have on a Sunday night.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, just let us know if our volumes are all okay. We're not sort of popping too much, and obviously you can hear us fine over the car volumes. Yeah, a little bit of feedback would be nice, because I have been changing a few settings the last today actually. Yeah, I mean, as I was saying to you earlier, George, there is quite a few new names on the tower today. So, new members have signed up to Red Line. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to be obviously interested to see how these guys partake today, and hopefully they all come out racing clean, and yeah, they can obviously do some more races with us. If not, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to them. So, yeah.
I think you run a very fair system. I mean, you give everybody their opportunity to prove themselves, and it comes down to how they want to present themselves into this sort of atmosphere, and it really just that comes down to them. So you've run a fair system, and keeping it clean is always going to be beneficial to the community as a whole going forward. You're not super exclusive, not letting people sign up. You allow people to get in, and I really love the system that you run.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, take our season 2. We run 5 tiers there. When we started season 2 20 odd weeks ago now. I mean, it's literally season 2 just finished on Friday. 20 weeks ago when we started this season, so we had 5 tiers. We could add a maximum of 26 drivers in each tier due to the pit box limit at Zandvoort at that time. And obviously the racing there across all 5 tiers were really, really good. I mean, usually find the top 20 drivers within 1 second of each other. So yeah, we are obviously open to rookies and pro drivers here. So we do try to give everyone a chance, and hopefully prove themselves to be obviously good and respectful and have good sportsmanship with the other drivers. That's the main thing, isn't it? Is to come here, have some fun, and obviously then make some friends along the way. So yeah. Guys, if you're obviously new to our channels and stuff, we've got a Red Line Discord channel. We've got about 3,600 members now. So, come and jump in. We do lots of races across different sims. It's not just ACC. We've got Race Room and R-Factor 2. We are looking to build on a iRacing team as well. So, yeah, we've obviously got lots going on this year. So, yeah, do pop in. I think links are in the description anyway, if you have a look underneath. So, Ryan, I mean, at the moment, who are you sort of voting for at the moment for leads today? Who do you think is going to be the podium spots? Am I asking too soon?
Never too soon. I'm always prepared for your for your very randomly timed suggestions. I mean, looking at the timetable at the moment, it is Villa who leads the board quite comfortably by almost 0.4 of a second. He's the closest to getting into the 150s. Obviously, we're not entirely sure what fuel these guys are running on at the moment, so we're not sure if that's going to be more representative of a qualifying lap or a race stint. But another person to look out for is Wolf Matuszko, of course. He's been very successful in Tier 2, but it'll be interesting to see how he handles himself in the Lamborghini Huracan. Nice pink car that he's got. Some of the names that I recognise here, obviously there's Alexander Borodai, who very well known from the Porsche Cup. Know him quite a bit. And then looking down the rest of the grid, seeing a couple of names I am familiar with. Zeljko Madso, Durda, Denis Pimenov. So there's quite a few names I recognise here. Yuri Turkia as well. So yeah, there's a lot of familiar names. I think Matushka's going to be in for a chance at the podium for sure. There.
Yeah, I mean,
he won the 6 hours of Nürburgring, didn't he? If I
that's
remember
right,
correctly.
he did. Yes, he did with his teammates win the 6-hour Nürburgring event. So yes, he could well be in for the fact to take a win tonight. He's definitely got the pace, and and he's obviously got the experience of running endurance events as well. So, but obviously, as we say as well, these cars, they're not for the faint-hearted. I'll say, they can be very twitchy in the back end. You just got to literally be very gentle when you do the weight transfer, with your throttle inputs and stuff. So, anyway, it's a nice dry Monza race. So, what can go wrong?
Well, hopefully nothing goes wrong, but we get some absolutely blistering racing in these cars. I mean, Samuel Villa at the moment, just in practice, almost getting into the 150s. He's sitting with a 151.159. I know it's practice and it doesn't really represent too much going into quali sessions, but having taken these cars and piloted them around Monza, that time makes me feel bad for what I even attempted to do. And he's going to get into times that I'd probably do in GT3 cars. So Villa seems to have mastered something in this Lamborghini ST Cup car.
Yeah, absolutely. So just 3 minutes 40 seconds left to practice, then so we go straight into a 15 minutes qualifying. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, looking at the track temps at the moment, it's 22 degrees ambient, 26 degrees on the track, so it's not overly hot, so quite optimal, I'd say, for the conditions.
Yeah, that temperature not rising up too much, maybe going to help with that tire wear a little bit. Like you said, that's going to be something to pay attention to towards the end of the race. I have not managed to test them out for long stints like they're going to be driving today. So whilst they are grippy, they feel pretty stable and fun. But that may all change as soon as the tire drop-off starts to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So just looking at the times at the moment, so this is also still only practice at the moment, so we look like we're almost up to the top 10 within a second off the pace at the moment, so looking too bad. Top 20 within 2 seconds. So yeah, so time-wise, it's looking too bad considering it's quite a mixed grid. I mean, it's not like a pro split, only pro drivers in here. A lot of guys that are from like tier 4 and stuff from the season 2 are racing today. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see the timing board at the moment. But yeah, I mean, obviously with the qualifying, as always, it really gets mixed up there. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting, I think, for the next 15 minutes when the qualifying starts.
Yeah, I mean, you're also going to change up your track conditions there. You're going to get a little bit more grip into the quali session. So a lot of these guys probably haven't really driven this car too much. When this race was announced, they were probably like, okay, getting thrown into this car for the first time. So you probably find that as the race progresses, you actually find that some of the general pace may increase as well as they become more and more settled with it. I'm sure they've put in time. But, it's not time on track with other cars, and that's where, real racing happens. It's going to be absolutely interesting.
Yeah, no, very true. So, minute and a half left of practice. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if we do actually get people actually breaking into the dead 150s. Like I said, we're looking at 151.1 at the moment, so it could be well possible in the sort of the last few moments of the qualifying that we might get someone into the maybe the very high 150s. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, Samuel at the moment P1 is looking very promising for it.
I mean, yeah, unless they suffer that burnout of just running laps too much in practice session. I mean, that grip level on a practice side is definitely a lot more slippery. So if you're doing that kind of a time, a 151.1, you would definitely hope to see a 150 there coming out into the quali session, I rate.
Yeah, very, very true. So yeah, I mean, I think I said on Friday, I mean, when I go do practicing, I always race with a full tank, try and get my best laps on the full tank, and then when it comes to quali, I then literally chuck in, say like 10, 12 litres, and then go straight for my qualifying lap. That way then, I guess you don't sort of peak too soon. So I mean, like I said, it's just literally having the right amount of practice to, like I said, not to peak too soon and then obviously mess up your qualifying pace.
Simon, that was the nicest way that anyone has ever described sandbagging in their life to the infinite.
Absolutely.
The nicest way possible.
There we are. So we've just in a bit of extra time. So once everyone goes back to the pits, then we will be straight over to the qualifying. So there we are. A shame that Jesse's not managed to get back in. So hopefully he isn't out for the night. Otherwise it'd just be the three of us tonight, unfortunately. So it'd just be me, George and Ryan otherwise. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Shame to obviously see him disappear as soon as we start to go live.
It's absolutely the worst timing and luck for that to happen.
So how are you going to pronounce his name? Is it Buzzy, I believe? Is it Buzzy? B-U-Z-Z-I.
Buzzy. I would say it like
Fabio
that.
Buzzy? Fabio Buzzy, yeah.
Ryan is our pronunciation expert, so we'd have to refer to him.
Absolutely.
Is it Fabio Buzzi at the moment? I believe he is Italian.
Buzzi? Okay.
Buzzi.
Buzzi with
It's
almost
Italian.
like a virtual T.
The double Z it kind of merges into one. Buzzi. So
Excellent.
I believe he is Italian. So
This is why we bring in Ryan there. I mean, Simon and I would have called him Buzzy for the entire stream.
Yeah, I mean that's the English version to us, really.
Yeah, that's
But,
true.
yeah.
Thankfully, Ryan pays attention to pronunciation, so Buzzy it is.
There we go. Right, so we've got to start the qualifying now. So we've got 15 minutes of qualifying. There will be a couple of minutes overtime off the qualifying there, and this is usually where we start to see top 10 start to get really mixed up. So yeah, looking at the times we had a minute ago, 151s was the pace. So hopefully we're going to get to see a few people breaking into the 150s with these cars. So yeah, it should be in for quite an interesting qualifying. So as I said, we've got a lot of new names in today's race with Redline. So yeah, obviously we don't know too much about some of these drivers yet. So yeah, if this race obviously goes very well, then obviously we will look to create a championship with this cup car. But yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, it's always interesting to get to see new drivers coming out, and like you said, it becomes easier to acclimatize to who drivers are if you get to see them throughout the duration of a league. But for now, it's going to just be a fun, like I said to you, a fun Sunday night's worth of racing in a series of cars that really doesn't get much screen time in this game at all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, our Porsche Cup's doing pretty well on the Mondays. You know, very, very popular. So that's going to be finished as well on Monday, the last round on Monday for that one. And then we have a special big grid Porsche Cup happening, I believe. When was the date of that, Ryan? Could you just let us know the date of that, the big grid at Bathurst we got? So we've got 50 cars signed up for the big grid Porsche Cup event. I believe it starts at the end of April, isn't it?
it is the 27th of April.
There we go. So 27th of April is when we've got the big grid. So yeah, so Monday is the final night of the championship, and then we've got a special big grid event at Bathurst for the Porsche Cups. I mean, that's a very tasty combination, isn't it?
No, that I've made my comments very clear in private about that suggestion, and I think that is going to be the race of the year to watch. If you want to see something absolutely insane, 50 Cup cars and the mountain.
Yes, it will be absolutely insane for sure. So I can't wait for that. So anyway, Zeman is currently on his hot lap, so we'll see what happens here. So we're going to stay on board with him for a minute.
We'll just get to start to see some of the pace coming out. Obviously, on these out laps or their first timed lap, the tires aren't yet up to their temperatures. But it's a pretty good indication for some of the drivers to start seeing where their pace levels are at. As Zeman goes through that second chicane, now going to get up to the approach for the Lesmos. That right-hander can be a little bit of a handful in these cars if you get onto that accelerator a little bit early or you run wide on the curb exit. Lesmo 2 as well, you do want to time your exit perfectly. You've got a little bit of a runoff strip to kind of extend in the Lamborghini here before you touch the grass. So down onto the straights, everything has been made up from Lesmo 2. If your exit has been bad, you're not carrying speed up into Ascari, where again, that weight transfer of this Lamborghini could prove a little bit tough for drivers to muster. Back down onto another long straight section to really stretch the legs and rev the engines of the ST cars. Ryan was right in choosing these. Much more preferred sound to the Cup car, in my opinion. Down into Parabolica. It's down back through the gearbox again to just keep control of that weight and get back onto the power once again for that long start finish straight run down to T1.
There we go. So he sets a time of 151.62. So it looks like Varela has managed to set a time literally almost 500ths of a second off the pace at the moment. So it looks like Wolf Matiska has managed to do a 150.9, so he has broken into the 150 barrier like we said earlier, so he is actually 2 tenths up on the fastest time in the practice there. So nice to see that.
Yeah, we didn't have to wait long to see that 150 broken from Matuska. And Villa, he was our top practice time setter. He hasn't managed to find a 150 just yet on his first timed lap. So let's see what else these drivers bring. I mean, this is still very early on, still 10 minutes left of quali, and the track's still getting a little bit more rubbered in as each driver puts their time around the circuit.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll stay with Villa for a minute to see how he does, because he's currently up by 1/10 at the moment. We've got Zeman currently 3 tenths up on his lap at the moment as well, so it might start to get a bit interesting very early on already during the qualifying.
I mean, during practice session, I saw that you had mentioned our top 10, I believe, were within a second of each other. So if that kind of heat gets brought out to the qualifying session as well, it's going to be a really, really great start.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, welcome to the chat, guys. Do appreciate you obviously coming along here, and obviously thanks for the follow. It's been much appreciated. So we are streaming to both Twitch and YouTube today, so if you're obviously on YouTube, don't forget that like button and subscribe, and obviously if you're on Twitch, don't forget to hit that follow button. Also, if you're on Amazon Prime customers, you can obviously subscribe to us on Twitch for free, and obviously that helps pay towards our server costs and stuff like that, so really do appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, we'll stay on board with Villa for a minute. So currently his fastest lap time is a 151.5. Looking at his relative, he looks like he might be even at the moment, so I think he might have lost a bit of time. So we'll just see
the
when he
exit
goes
of
over the line.
Parabolica. The exit of Parabolica there,
yeah.
for him, he just kind of scrubbed so much speed.
There we go, that's a shame. So we've got Mikael Springer at the moment. He's currently 5 tenths up on his time. So 152.3 is his current time at the moment. So currently 5 tenths up could put him into a 151.8.
And just to touch on the difference that we have at the moment here between the practice times and the qualifying times, Wolf Matuszka is almost an entire second up on the time that he set in practice. So that definitely shows that Wolf Matuszka earlier on was definitely running in much more of a race stint mode, trying to get a feel for the car, what it must have been like on a much heavier fuel load. He is 7.5 tenths clear of Varela at this point in time. He went 3 tenths quicker on his previous lap. He has come back into the pit lane and he is now back out for an outlap.
There we go. We're still Springer for a moment still. He's still currently 5 tenths up. We've got Quirk, who's currently in P5 at the moment, 4 tenths up as well, and even 5 tenths now, so we might jump over to him shortly. But we'll just stay with Springer for a minute, see if anything comes up. He's currently P11 right now, but 5 tenths should yield him maybe P6. So, yeah, guys, so are we going to think then, really realistically now, as we're starting to see some times getting set? So, Michael Springer now actually did get P6, as I just said there. Quirk went quicker as well, went up to P2.
Yeah, that's a great time coming out from him, almost just getting into the 150s as well. He's just 300ths off of getting there. So almost there as well to break that mark. I mean, Matuszka's 150.6 is absolutely just horrendous to me because I'm just it's depressing me a little bit because that's my GT3 time around this circuit. You know, I'll be fully honest and disclose it to the internet to know. I love this game and I grind the hours away, but it really is great to see talent come out and you know, the aliens come out to play and show you really what times you should be doing at circuits like this.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but then obviously some people find a different field, a different sims. You know, some can be faster. I mean, Dan Suzuki, for example, he's very, very fast on iRacing, and he's still very competitive on ACC. But I mean, as Ryan would say, you know, he's raced with Dan Suzuki himself, and you know, like I said, he cannot touch nowhere near the times in iRacing to Dan where he can, obviously, in ACC. So I think it's just down to the sims themselves, you know, to what feels more sort of flow into them. But ACC is definitely more sort of demanding on you, I'd say. You know, you have to be a bit more sort of focused and with the car, you know, not to make it those small mistakes, because obviously this game does really punish you for the smallest of mistakes.
Yeah, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. But I think one of the biggest things that it can come down to as well is, you know, the amount of hours you put into something. You know, it's undoubted that the more hours you put into something, as long as, you know, you're practicing properly, you know, you're going to get faster. It's just the way it's going to work. I myself, you know, as you've just mentioned, in ACC, I can keep up with the likes of Dan Suzuki. That was probably not true about 3 or 4 months ago, back when I started doing ACC much more regularly. So, you know, the more time you put into something, you know, the better you'll get at it. You practice, you know, seriously, you know, you will get quicker. And it's the same for any sim, you know, whether it be project cars, iRacing, R Factor, ACC. You know, you just need to put the time in. You need to practice properly. But being quick from the start isn't, you know, it's not the most important thing. And you know, also, you know, being quick in general isn't the most important thing. The most important thing in any sim is to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So Wolf has just managed to go a little bit quicker again, so knocking up nearly half a hundredth of a second, should I say, off his time there. So he's opened up that gap a bit more. So 2 tenths off of has opened up between him and P2 Zeman. So currently Zeman is currently up by 1 tenth. He was 2 tenths off a moment ago. So we'll jump back over to him. See if he can improve again. He is, so he's currently 2 tenths off. So there could be a change for P1 here as he's just gone into the wall. Oh, not what we wanted to see there on such a good time then. He could have literally taken P1 off of Wolf. So shame to see that. So
I mean, it was important to see that, Simon. I think the viewers need to understand just how temperamental these cars can be. You get on that accelerator pedal a little bit too excitedly in the wrong part of the circuit, you know, on curbs and things like that. And it can just kick out. And yeah, there's not really too much room for error here. You're going to find a barrier and damage your car.
Absolutely, yeah, because like I say, these guys are literally pushing to the very limits to get those extra temps out of these cars. And you know, like you say, this just one small mistake, and like you said, you just seen there straight into a wall. So yeah, I mean, we're really looking forward to obviously what the race is going to bring. So they've got 75 minutes to the race. There is one mandatory pit stop, and I said there is no restrictions on when the pit window opens or to what pit things they do. As long as they actually take fuel, that's the main thing. So they can take fuel and tyres, just fuel. They can't just drive through the pits and drive back out, unfortunately, you know, because that's not really a pit stop. That's more just a drive-through. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. It's really going to mix things up, I'd say, with the pit stop. So
yeah, and talking about how hard Zeman was pushing on that lap, it's kind of important to note that the Lamborghini cars in general, they're very difficult cars to get the best out of. We've seen in the Season 2 Championship, there was a Lamborghini that joined us midway throughout the season, of Ciano Brioni, I think it was. And he showed how, you know, the pace that the Lamborghini Huracan has is absolutely incredible, but it is a beast to tame. It's a car that will try and throw you into the wall as often as it can. And the same goes for these Super Trofeo cars. They're not exactly easy to handle. They have a lot of shared characteristics with the GT3 Huracan, so it's another one of those cars that you have to be really careful with it. The Porsche Cup car is, of course, without its traction control, it's undoubtedly a much harder car to drive. But these cars are quite different to the Porsche Cup car in the same sense that the Cup car is very different to the GT3. So these cars, they do have a lot of difficulty in getting the best out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So Samuel Raps was currently up by 4 temps, so he's lost 3 temps off his time. So look at the moment, I mean, we was at the top 10 within a second, and with the top 20 within 2 seconds. I mean, we're still within 2 seconds with the top 20, but the top 6 at the moment is pretty under the 1 second mark now. So yeah, obviously some guys not doing as well as they did during the practice session, so maybe they peaked a bit too soon, a bit too much practice, I'd say. But still got a few minutes left, and also got a couple of minutes of overtime to go with that. So yeah, we'll see what's going to materialise from this, because this is usually when a few people, as it looks like Villa has made a big mistake there and gone wide.
I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, Villa was our top practice time setter coming into qualifying, probably feeling quite confident with it, and finding himself just kind of tumbling down the tower as everyone else just sets their times. He's probably pushing the car to its limits even more than he would be normally. And yeah, it's that fine balancing point between keeping that calm head and getting your times down as you would want them to be, keeping it in control, not overdriving the car. Like you mentioned, Simon, ACC just punishes the overdriving side of things, especially if you slipping the tires and losing time on exits like that. So it's I love hate the game. It hates me because I overdrive the cars coming here from a drifting background. I just love oversteer. Yes. Like that's just my thing. So it punishes me quite heavily for some of my heavy right foot techniques. The cup cars definitely helped rein that in.
Absolutely. So it looks like Wolf has gone to the pits. We have got Zeman still out at the moment, P2. Quirk is still out at the moment. Lamas at the moment is actually in the pits. So we might get, I don't know, looks like Zeman is now about a second down his time. So I don't look like we're going to get any times change there. Quirk at the moment seems to be even on his time. So we don't know if he's going to gain anything else, but we'll stay with him for the moment. We've got Lara in P6 at the moment, who is 0.3 seconds off at the moment. So this could make a change. So this could actually give them P3, maybe even P2, depending on if Lara can keep their pace.
Yeah, Lara seems to have found some last-minute wind in his sails here with a time that could really just change up his position.
Yeah, so it looks like Quirk is down by 1 temp. So I'm going to jump over to Lara for a minute to see where he is at the moment. So it looks like he's coming around the final corner here. So it looks like he's now even. Now he's down on his times, unfortunately. So it looks like he's just bailed out of his final lap. So shame, he should have kept that going really, because he could have taken game position.
I was going to say, bailed out of his final lap, he might have run out of fuel.
Yeah, he could well have done actually. Yeah.
The way that car started to slow down quite drastically through the final corner, I think he may have run out of fuel.
I think you're right, Ryan. I think he did run out.
Oh, such a shame. I've done that myself. In fact, in a few times in a qualifying session or even in a race, it's even worse, where you get right towards the end and you run out of fuel. But that looks like it's going to be it for qualifying. And your pole sitter is going to be Wolf Matushka with a 150.49.
Excellent. Yes, so just wait for the session to change over. So these are currently your qualifying standards at the moment. So once we jump over to the start of the race, we have got a full formation lap as well. And then we'll just pan the camera down the grid order, and then Ryan will just call out the names of the order of the cars. So yes, I mean, we are again at Monza. We are in the Super Trofeo Cup cars. This is going to be very interesting for Monza in the dry at T1. So we just hope that everyone's going to behave and take it easy down there, because the last thing we want is obviously to see a lot of pile-ups going on in T1. So like I said, we have done it in Monza at the Rain with 30 cars going through T1 with no collision. So I'm sure we can do this today. But I said we have got a lot of new names in this race. So we'll have to see. So there we are. So yeah, Wolf is now still leading with P1 at the moment. So are we going to start doing our bets now? Are we going to do our commentator's curse on our drivers? On who's going to take the win today? Or are we going to sort of pick guys who are a bit further down the field and then let the ones that we think is going to win?
I'll be bold. I'll be brave. I'll go first, as I always have to. Wolf Matushka is, I think, he's shown a lot of good character over the practice session, over qualifying, and I think he's got the race pace as well. And I think he didn't let that slip from him in practice either. He was confident, I think, going into qualifying that he had some really good pace, and I think he's going to carry that over into the race. So I'm going to go for Wolf Matushka tonight.
Nice. What about yourself, George? Who are we thinking of going with?
I mean, I don't like how Ryan just self-elected himself to go first and then picked the pole sitter. But be that as it may, I think that Paco Lara is going to be my man to watch down in P6. I think that I'm going to just pick him as long as fuel works out.
Actually, I just seen Wolf's in the chat. He's saying please no. So.
No. So Ryan's already killed Wolf, and I'm sorry about that. Ryan, you must apologize.
I have faith.
We have faith, yes.
That's all I can have as a commentator.
Jesse's back.
Yeah, if everyone just is someone just writing in the chat to the guys who said let them know they've got to take it nice and easy. I've got full load of fuel and obviously cold tires and brakes, so obviously we just want T1 to go nicely. That'd be nice. But Ryan, would you be able to go through the actual order, please, of the grid order at the moment? So I'll pan the camera down through the pit straight here.
Yes, I can. So it is Wolf Matushka, as previously mentioned, on pole, 150.49. Incredibly impressive qualifying lap time. Alongside him is Lubomir Zeman, completing the front row. Tobias Kwek and Jose Llamas will fill out the second row. Alexander Borodai and Paco Lara fill out the third row. Isaias Varela and Samuel Villa are on the fourth row. Jakub Stanek and Nico Kramer round out the top 10. The rest of the grid is Davide Palazzi, Michael Springer, Samuel Cholomondoli, Yuri Turkia, Thibaut Roch, Jeffrey Wolf, Boris Kotov, Zelika Madzo, Sebastian Zayak, William Mazzolini, Denis Pimenov, Josef Varga, Juso Gronmark, Fabio Buzzi, Emilian Jan Vapatka, Marcel Richter, Mikkel Derda, and Oliver Hamu.
There we go. So a few tongue twisters there. Unfortunately, Ryan wasn't for you, bless you.
Just a couple.
So yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, there's a few names there. Obviously we're trying to get used to their names and how they pronounce. Obviously, we're not going to be able to speak to the drivers yet to see, how they pronounce their names. So yeah, do bear with us as we do butcher some of their names. Typical. Comments box there. So anyway, yes,
we'll get better with time.
exactly. Yeah, once we start to get known to some of these guys and how they pronounce their names, because a lot of people from around the world, pronounce their names completely different to how we pronounce them, say in English. So yeah. Anyway, so like I said, we've got a full formation lap, so we've still got a minute left to count down. Unfortunately, Ryan hasn't done a track guide video for us yet, because he wasn't actually planning to run this race this weekend. This was literally just a last minute throw to get a race, just to just have a bit of fun really on a Sunday and get our community sort of involved into just some fun racing. So yeah, so I think obviously as you guys obviously sort of picked Wolf already, I'm going to go for Zemon, I think, because he's shown he's got the pace there. As long as he can keep that car on the black stuff, I think we could be in for a great race with these guys. So I'm generally going for the guy. I'm not going to say it, because if I say it, I'm going to curse him. So that's how it goes here, unfortunately. So there we are. So still 30 seconds left to go, and I said we've got a full 75-minute race with one mandatory pit stop. So very, very interesting.
Yeah, the driver's going to be able to play around with their own team strategies and figure out what works well with these ST cars.
Absolutely. So Jesse, are you actually in the box now? Are you live?
Do you know I am?
Yes!
I took a brief moment. I went back into the dark ages, folks. I had no power. I was in a completely dark room. My apologies to the booth and you guys at home, but it came back, and just in time to watch this fantastic race. This is going to be good. And by the way, guys, because Ryan took my pick, I was going to curse Wolf Matushka by picking him. I guess I'll have to take Tobias Kwek in this race, starting third here. He has a lot of racing prowess, so we will see if he can do anything against Wolf Matushka. And one more thing about Wolf Matushka, by the way, guys, he won the Tier 2 season finale yesterday, or not yesterday, I should say, on Friday. He's feeling as good as ever. So, little added, I suppose, fire in him to get another win here today. And as you guys said earlier in the broadcast, he had also won the 6 hours of Nürburgring that we had ran as well.
So there we go. Yeah, some good information there. So yeah, we're going to have to see what happens here. So as I said, Wolf is definitely a big favourite here. But like I said, I don't want to be the one to curse him. So I've left you guys to curse him so he can obviously come back and, you know, have a go at you guys about it.
He'll thank me when he wins.
I'm just glad Ryan took the bullet for me because I was going to pick Wolf Matushka. But Wolf, I know you're listening out there. I didn't pick you today. You can't blame me. And you could have blamed me all season, but today it was Ryan who did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same here as well. So I'm with you, Jesse. So yeah, so still full formation lap. Everyone is going to be waving, so braking hard and trying to get those brakes and tyres warmed up nicely. So get themselves all ready for the race. So once they get round to the final corner, so it looks like a few of these guys obviously not used to the widget at the moment for the formation, so they need to start to learn to follow the on-screen widget to keep themselves in order and not drive through cars. Which is great actually that we have this sort of ghosting thing during the formation lap just so we don't have these incidents before the race start. This is what I mean, so we've got a few new guys here that have obviously signed up recently to us at Redline, so we'd have no clue what they're going to race like. Obviously looks like they're fairly new to the sim, so we'll just hope that they actually learn to brake a bit earlier for T1 and not just pile straight into the grid. So that's the that's obviously the worst or the dreaded thing of Monza.
Yeah, you just want to have that clean C1 start so that the racing can get underway and do its thing. So I'm sending out all my positivity to these new guys to uphold the clean RLM standards that we've always seen in the starts of the races.
Yeah, so what we can do, if there ends up being a pile-up, then we will just have to do a restart of the race, and hopefully everyone will just get a bit of a big warning and say, look, pack it in, otherwise you're going to be out. Yeah, so like I said, it's a lot of new guys here, unfortunately, so we don't know how they race, and obviously we're just going to see how they do behave. I mean, still the guys are still trying to get into different positions at the moment when they should be actually all getting into double file at the moment, so I'm not sure what is going on with them at the moment as they're sort of... Yeah. This ain't looking great already ready for T1 with lots of people just literally come flying down and not actually listening to what the widget is actually telling them to do.
I think they could have actually dropped off a little bit and then start getting that warning that says, you know, you're going to get kicked to the pits, and then just quickly tried to not get that.
Absolutely, right. So we just jump back over to Wolf, who will be actually leading the pack at the moment. So Wolf leading the pack. Bad joke.
The tension ratcheting up.
Absolutely, yes. So as soon as he gets up to the line and the lights go green, it will be go, go, go. So, and here we are off. So Wolf is currently holding the lead at the moment. Looks like Quirk has managed to get the jump there on Zimon as well. So that's actually put Quirk Zimon back now to, looks like he might be P4 actually, looking at Lamas there taking the inside line. So it looks like he's lost 3 positions at the moment. We'll see what happens at the moment. Looks clean. Oh my god.
Oh, we did have a bit of contact towards the back of the grid.
Yes, one car has spun around, unfortunately, but obviously left to another car as well, so hopefully everyone's going to be...
I think we've had up to probably about 4 cars involved. One car did go off onto the grass, came back across the track. I think we've had 4 or 5 cars involved.
I will just try and double check to see what's happened there. So yeah, one car did spin around, obviously caused a bit of chaos at T2 there. But to be honest, I'm actually looking at obviously the start of that. It did look a lot cleaner than I actually thought. So I think just because one car got span around, maybe put on the power too quickly and span himself around, because these cars are very lively, especially if you do run low TC as well. And then look there.
I think a lot of the pack getting away pretty cleanly. I mean, I'm just kind of tracking things from the front end, just kind of watching as the train of Lamborghini Super Trofeos starts to roar around through Ascari. So just to keep you up to date with where the pack is going through, it looks pretty good. Matushka up front, quick in second. Zeman holding down third. Lara up into fourth. Varela into fifth. And Barade into sixth. Those are the guys that I can see on screen from my end up at the front.
Yes, so looking at it at the moment, it looks like P19 just managed to get a good overtake there. So we'll just jump back to Samuel Veal, who looks like he's very closing up the gaps. I will start to change the cameras over so we get some better action. So I just wanted to check, make sure lap 1 was nice and clean. So we did looks like about 4 cars, one car span out, and obviously took a couple cars out due to that at the start of the race into T1. So, which, to be honest, I don't think that was actually too bad, considering how the start went. So, yeah, we have got a lot of new drivers in here. And also, unfortunately, it does take one car to spin around, then obviously everyone's trying to get around them. Obviously, that's where a lot more contact happens. But realistically, I think that's pretty as good as you're going to get for Monza at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that certainly wasn't bad.
No,
I mean,
we don't.
You had the vast majority of cars to get through there. And guys, I just got to talk about Tobias Quick for a second. I picked him to win this thing, and my goodness, he came from the second row of the grid, and he was dead even with Matushka into the first chicane. So that's just as I've had to call Tobias Quick's races all season. I know that man is aggressive. He warned me, by the way, that there was a green Lamborghini coming. I didn't realize he meant today, by the way, but he was shot out of a cannon on that start. That was good stuff. And of course, they got through T1 cleanly.
Absolutely, yes. We just seen on screen as well as Yuri's just managed to get the overtake there on Kramer, so taking P7. So they will update the relatives once he goes over the. There we go, he's on the table now, it's P7 there, so nice to see that. Just I've got a bit more battle going on down for P13 at the moment with P11, so three-way battle so far. Everyone's sort of pretty close together at the moment.
Yeah, as everything continues here early in this race, it's all about finding your pace and finding your rhythm, and all these drivers, again, this is not something that most of these drivers would typically do. You don't typically go out and run a Super Trofeo race. You typically run the GT3s or a Porsche Cup, right? So this is fantastic. It's not new or foreign to all of these guys, but it's all about finding your pace and your rhythm out there, and that's easier said than done, isn't it, if you have another Lamborghini up behind you.
Absolutely, yeah. I just want to quickly jump in here as Michael Springer is side by side with P12 at the moment as he comes up to T1. So he has got the inside line. Looks like he's got it done there, so he has managed to get past nicely into T1, T2. So he's come out lovely there, taking P12 off of Kotvo. How do you pronounce his name? Sorry,
Kotov?
Kotov. That's the one. Yeah. There we go.
Together, Simon, you and I will learn.
We will learn some new names.
As beautifully as Jesse and Ryan do it.
No, don't include me in that, Ryan. There's a reason why we need you.
Absolutely, yeah. So Springer again is obviously closing up now on Wolf, who's currently P11. So not Wolf Matisco, who's currently P1. It's another Wolf. We've got 2 Wolves in here. So this is Jeffrey Wolf. So we'll stay with Springer for the moment because he looks like he's pretty close at the moment. Guys, if you do see any other anything going on further down the field, let us know and we'll jump over. So we'll stay with Michael Springer for the moment.
Indeed, just saw in the back of the shot a car going a bit off.
Yeah, and just to keep you up to date with some information, there are some ongoing investigations into the Turn 1 and Turn 2 incidents. The only information I have right now is that car 998 of Alexander Borodai had spun around car 1 of Jose Llamas. The position was not given back, and thus a drive-through penalty has been given.
So there we go. So Paco Lara currently getting the overtake, but he has got the outside lane coming up to outside line coming up to up to T1. But it looks like he's managed to get in front to take the position there to put him up to P3, P4 even. Sorry. Sorry, my timing board is actually flying all over the place.
I
at the moment,
think
so
I think
don't know
that
what's
was
going on.
actually I think that was actually Varela making the move onto Lara there, who lost out coming into T1 because I think Lara was running in P4 and now will drop down to P5 as Varela made his way through there. My timing board was also kind of freaking out, but I think that's what we kind of saw there.
Yes, I think you are right there. Yes, so something just got mixed up there. So I don't know if there's some problems with server sides or something. It's just a bit weird. So we just obviously had the same sort of experience there, but we're trying to keep you guys updated with exactly what's going on. Looks like the live timing boards tower on the screen is accurate at the moment. It's just our broadcasting tool seems to have it.
Bit of
Hey guys, yeah, we are back.
Yes, a bit of unfortunate events here. As you can see, Alexander Borda has been given a drive-through penalty. You can almost surely assume that is track limits, and he has very promptly brought his car down to pit road to serve that drive-through penalty. Of course, drive-through do not have to stop, just got to drive through pit road, but he was running well inside the top 10 there. That will drop him quite far down the running order.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Just let everyone know that we are back. Something happened, unfortunately, to the stream. I don't know what was going on. Maybe internet is causing problems at the moment, servers or stuff. I'm having all sorts of weird problems at the moment, guys. So just bear with us. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I seem to have some weird problems at the moment, so I don't know what's going on. So is the stream still up for you guys?
Stream is still running for me.
Right,
Fine.
okay,
Yeah,
guys, there we
still
go.
up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. Something's weird's happening at the moment. I don't know if it's just literally down to the internet. It's just causing a lot of problems. But yeah, hopefully we'll try and stick with us to keep this stream going. So hopefully we shouldn't have two more problems.
Oh dear, it appears as if the 16th place car of Richter now has a drive-through penalty. You can only assume, again, that those are track limits. You get several warnings before you get one of those penalties, but not uncommon to see that happen, but it is unfortunate. Luckily that we still have an hour and 5 minutes of this race left. You can come in and serve your drive-through penalty and get back out there, and as you can see, it dropped Richter right down the order. He's outside the top 20 now, where he was running inside, I believe, the top 16th or 15th.
Absolutely, yeah. So Quirk looks like he's gone side by side now with Wolf coming into T1 here. It looks like Quirk will have the inside line coming out of T2, but no, he has to tuck back in behind of Wolf. So this is going to be a very interesting battle going on for P1 at the moment.
This is fantastic stuff, fantastic racing, and I'm no stranger personally. I got treated to this all season long. The Skittle-colored cars, as I call them, a very pink car and a very green car. That's just fantastic, though, of course, they were very different there, as you see Tobias Quet get a little squirrely on the curb. Big sausage curbs here at Monza in the corners, but for the time being, it looks like Wolf Matuszka has yarded him out a little bit, but that was impressive that Quet could even get there in the first place. Matuszka is so fast. He's such a fast driver, and his his track record, so to speak, kind of speaks for itself, all the wins that guy has, but that's impressive just to get there.
I mean, even the top 5 guys, they are really kind of doing a great job here, just keeping it in that ballpark for if someone makes a tiny little mistake, you can just go and capitalize off that. So all the guys in this top 5, all in the same shot on camera as well, just doing a really great job driving these cars to their absolute limits around Monza.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're on board with Yuri for a moment. He was getting very, very close to Kramer a moment ago. He did overtake him earlier on, but looks like obviously he had a bit of a switcheroo, so hopefully he might get the position back. So this is a fight for P7 at the moment. So yeah, thanks for the follow, guys. Really appreciate you all obviously sticking around for the stream. So hopefully we don't lose you again. Obviously this is out of our hands, unfortunately. So we'll just try and stay with it, and we'll try and keep the stream going as long as we can. So.
Yes, the positive here that we can take away is that the race is still going on, and it's, well, as George pointed out earlier, it's hotly contested inside the top 5. But to add to your point, George, it's hotly contested everywhere because we're looking at this what is this? This is battle for P7, and we're talking about P22 earlier. So, my goodness, I mean, that's kind of what you expect with these Super Trofeo cars, isn't it, guys? That's kind of why we're doing this, is because they're all basic, they're all exactly the same car. Of course, you have setup choice and all these different things.
Yeah, it comes down to the driver and what he's doing with his inputs. You're not able to kind of just lay back and blame the other cars or the balance of power being in favor on a certain track combo. Everybody drives the same thing, bar their couple of setup changes and obviously their driving styles. So I agree with you. Cup car racing really does split drivers up into their skill talent trees, and being able to drive a variety of different cars is also something that I think is a feather in the cap of an experienced sim racer.
Yeah, absolutely agree there. So, yeah, Ryan, how's the update with the current live streaming regarding lap 1 at the moment? I see you said you were still having a look over that. So, is there any sort of update at the moment?
Well, Alexander Borodai has served his drive-through penalty that he was given for contact with Jose Llamas. There is one more ongoing investigation on at the moment, but I am querying a second opinion on the decision for the penalty, so I will get back to you as quick as possible on that.
Excellent. Thanks for the update there, Ryan. So, Yuri is literally right on the back end now of Kramer at the moment. So, Kramer is holding the inside line, so this could be very, very interesting at the moment. We'll see how this materializes. So we'll just go straight to Headicam.
Kramer's doing the smart thing. He covers the inside. That typically works most of the time here. You just cover the inside line. You get the better shot through turn 1 and you clear the guy. But when it doesn't go right, you end up exiting that chicane side by side and it becomes a drag race. But once again, if you have the inside, then you have the inside for this corner, which is fantastic as well. But this battle, guys, I don't think this is settled. I don't think that we've seen the last change between these two guys. This is going to continue right throughout this race.
Yeah, 100%. So we're coming up to the hour mark now. So we've still got one mandatory pit stop that these guys have to take. So like I said, there's no pit window. They can take their pit stop whenever they want to, and they have a choice to take tyres, but they all have to take fuel. So yeah, we'll see how this materializes. So 75 minutes is going to be quite a fun event rather than just a pure sprint race. So that's what I thought. I'd just add in the extra mandatory pit and just the extra few more minutes just so people could actually empty their fuel tanks. So yeah, see how this materializes at the moment. So Yuri's still currently on the back of Kramer at the moment. I am just looking a bit further down the field. It looks like we might have Raunch on the back end.
Palazzi is actually spun around. He was running in P19 at the time. He spun back there, so he's going to give some of those back markers a little bit of an opportunity just to update you from the back of the pack. So drivers from P19 onwards, smiling as Palazzi makes that mistake.
Nice. So thanks for the update there, George. So yeah, stay with Ronchi for the moment because he is currently really closing up. So he's got the tow here at the moment. So as they come through Parabolica at the moment, we might get to see an overtake here. He's gone for the inside line as they come up to the pit. It looks like he's going to be holding the inside line here, coming up to T1. So we'll stay and get a better camera view at the moment so we can see the distance here. Looks like he decided to pull back in to get a bit more of a tow. So is he going to try and use a slingshot effect? We'll see what happens here. So he's come back out again, but not enough to cover the inside line, unfortunately. So he thinks twice and obviously gets back in behind and takes it there. Try for another try again.
I think anything beyond what he did there would have just turned into just a dive bomb from that position. He had obviously just lost that top end, and good decision to tuck back in and give himself another fighting shot. I mean, still on the right on the back, going for the inside line. They're going to go side by side into the second chicane. Nope, not again. He's going to tuck back once again to make use of that slipstream. Runs wide, touches the grass, does Ronch, as they get into the Lesmo sections again. He just wants to hold on to the back of this Lambo to capitalize on the straight as much as possible. He doesn't want to lose out and risk losing the slip.
Absolutely, yes. I might have to jump over to, we pronounced his name earlier on, I can't pronounce it again, P8 at the moment. So it looks like he is closing up on Yuri at the moment. So it looks like Kramer obviously must have made a mistake, because Yuri's obviously got P7 off him, and obviously this has brought, how do we pronounce his name again? Is it Zayak, yes, we'll go with Zayak. Zayak will do. So yeah, Zayak has managed to get in front of Kramer as well. So Kramer's dropped down 2 positions from this. So again, he was close up to Yuri, but Yuri has managed to pull away. But he is a bit later on the brakes, almost going for a dive bomb into Parabolica, but he's still behind at the moment. So we'll see if anything materialises from this. We might have to jump back over to Raunch quickly because there is 0.1 second between these guys. So jump over because they are side by side as well through Parabolica as well. So interesting stuff so far. So it looks like Raunch has managed to get the overtake.
Oh dear.
No, Raunch is in the blue car there. He's still struggling to get past the red car of Kotov. He had a bit of a wide exit coming out of Parabolica, and now he's going to try go on the inside towards T1. He has got a long side. He's given himself the space, and I think he might have the move done here. He tries to block defensively to try and stop the exit of that red Lamborghini. It looks like Raunch has got the move done finally.
There we go, yeah. So I don't know what was going on there. The camera showed me a completely different car there. I was looking at the red one, thinking he'd done the overtake.
It's the broadcast clients. It sometimes loves us, it sometimes doesn't work out.
Exactly. So we do apologise about that. But anyway, still managed to catch the action, that's for sure. So Lammers has just managed to overtake here at the moment. So he's currently up to P10. So what is happening to Kramer as well? Has he got damage, or what is going on with him at the moment? He's definitely been a lot slower now. He's lost a few positions, so I don't know if he's got damage or...
I may have some insight for you gentlemen on that in that regard. I've heard that the 22 car, which is in 7th place, he has damage. No word if they meant the 21 or if the 21 also has damage, but yes, I did notice that as well. Somebody in chat asking what is sort of the fastest lap that's been ran. I can tell you the fastest lap of the race is a 151.591 ran by the 2nd place car of Tobias Quick, no doubt in the tow of Wolf Matuszka. And also, George, I have a question for you. How big is the tow, the draft that you get in these cars on these long straightaways? Is it substantial?
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. Especially, it might be amplified by the fact that they obviously have the same top ends. So the only difference would be the aero that you're benefiting off. But in my testing earlier, I had 3 guys in the lobby with me, and we found that the tow is so important to keep there if you are trying to just keep up with the guy in front of you.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't mean to cut in, gentlemen, but Wolf Matuszka has made a mistake at the 2nd chicane, and that has allowed Tobias Quick to get past him.
Oh, wow, there we go. I'll try and get the replay of that if I can. Unfortunately, it was just enough there, so it looks like he did make a small mistake. And like I said, Quirk has managed to get P1 off of Wolf at the moment, so now Quirk is currently the race leader. Some interesting racing going on so far. So, to be honest, it's been quite a clean race actually. Just a few little incidents on lap 1. I mean, to be expected really with Monza in these cars. But yeah, you know what? I mean, we only had literally about 3 or 4 cars who were actually involved in this, and that was just purely because one car, turned around and obviously caused a bit of a problem into the first chicane. But after that, I mean, it's been pretty okay so far, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, there were a few incidents at the start, but I mean, my goodness, just every lap around here, some of these guys are side by side. They're working through traffic. They're doing everything they can to make up time and places, and there's just not been a lot of, if any, contact. It's just been significantly hard racing, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic. How many times have we seen cars go side by side into turn 1 and make a pass or perhaps just end up resetting to not? But credit to Tobias Quick for a moment. That man pursued Wolf Matuszka for an entire season, and he's pursuing him today. There's only so much pink car you can look at before you decide that you want to see it in the rearview mirror, and I think that's kind of what Queck is feeling right now, but he is under immense pressure from Wolf Matushka right now. Wolf, an incredibly fast and smart driver. Every now and then, drivers do make small mistakes, but that is not going to keep his relentless pursuit from the front from ending today, as you can see, right on the back bumper of Tobias Queck. And I don't know, would you want Wolf Matushka behind you guys?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because like I said, we know Worf is very good. He won the 6-hour Nürburgring back in the beginning of February there. So we know he's got the pace and he's got the consistency there for these long endurances. So maybe he's just biding his time. Maybe he's just probably thinking, well, I'm going to take a relaxing approach here, save my tyres for a bit later on, and then push harder later. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe this is where Quirk is probably pushing a bit too hard now, and then later on it's going to affect his tyre wear. So who knows? It's going to be very interesting, isn't it, to see what happens in the next sort of 52 minutes.
Simon, you nailed it on the nail on the head there with what Matushka could be doing. Just sitting in that slip, just saving on his tires, not having to always be full on the fuel as well. Of course, these cars don't have engine mappings. If you are trying to do any fuel saving, where you would want to be doing it is in the toe. So Matushka here, with 53 minutes to go, I would not want to be quick to answer Jesse's question. I feel like that is too much of a time to have this car in your rearview mirror. And Quick going to go on the inside line to try and hold Matushka at bay into T1. Oof. And Matushka with a really good run, going to maybe make a run around the outside. Quick's made a big mistake. And I think they'll go side by side once again. I think Matushka's exit could yield well, but Quick will have the inside line coming into the De La Roggia chicane.
Yeah, we also have Zimon on the back there as well, trying to find a way around. We're almost going to free wide here. He's trying to find his way around, but no chance here. It's best to play safe, hold back, and maybe, as we've seen before, this is becoming a freeway battle at the moment. So, and usually we see this as the guy that's obviously following the two guys in front. They end up taking the two positions when they are obviously under pressure. So, yeah, a lot's going to happen. It's getting very, very exciting already.
What happens if there are 4 cars in that fray? Because Varela is also there to dance around with the leaders now.
This is, going to be very, very interesting to see. But he's a little bit further back, isn't he? He is starting to close up the gap. So we're going to have to see. Just have to sit tight and just watch for the action here. But obviously, as this is going on, obviously we've still got things going on down the grid as well. So we've got a few guys within sort of about half a second of each other at P13 at the moment. So we might have to jump over to them shortly if nothing happens here. So just if one of you guys could just keep an eye on the battle there for P13, we might have to jump over to that shortly.
I've currently got it on my screen for you, so I'll monitor it for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so currently again, Wolf is very close, taking the inside line of the Parabolica here, so holding P1. Getting flashed by Quirk at the moment, but that was a very clean overtake.
So Quirk isn't done here as the long run down the front straightaway into turn 1. Wolf Matushka takes the defensive inside line. Queck on the outside. Queck ever so slightly gets ahead. He tries to break as late as he dares. 3rd and 4th place and even 5th place, dare I say, draw in. There's a little bit of touch. There's a spin, and they get it going the right way. And ladies and gentlemen, that means that Zeman is now going to be the leader of this race. Lubomir Zeman is now the leader of this Super Trofeo race. Incredible stuff. And even though that was a touch, that did not take neither driver out of this race. Play on.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, do you want to... Zeman did pretty well there to get P1 as he did there. So, yeah, correct as well. Great for sportsmanships. He did hold back to allow Wolf to continue his position. Obviously, he has lost a couple of positions overall from this. But, at the end of the day, we can see there is good sportsmanship between these guys. It isn't a case of just taking one guy out and just carrying on and just, saying F you type thing. So yeah, I mean, obviously the stewards will obviously investigate a bit further into that. Maybe there might be worth a time penalty or something. We'll have to see what Ryan comes up with in a minute. But yeah, at the moment he has lost obviously 2 positions, Wolf, from that. So this is very, very interesting very early on to see what is going to materialise with this at the moment. Because Wolf is starting to close up on Varela at the moment now. So yeah, lots going on at the moment. So I will jump over to P18 actually quickly, because it looks like there might be something materialising there. So sorry there, George.
No, I was just going to say I was tracking that battle between Boris Kotov and Jacob Stanek for 13th and 14th. It wasn't quite as interesting as that screen that you were showing. But yeah, it was just Kotov running a little bit too wide through Parabolica and Stanek managing to get the move done.
Oh, so we've just seen that Wolf and P20 there. Just took a bit of an wide exit there, span out and hit the wall. So fault with himself there, just a little bit too aggressive. That's what I mean. These cars, you know, you have to be very sort of gentle with your inputs because it will bite back, as you can just see there.
Yeah, especially if you get a little bit of a run wide off of the curb and you just find yourself not on the most grippy part of the surface and you just get a little bit too eager on the throttle, just pirouettes you around, and yeah, that's exactly what happened to Wolf.
Absolutely, yep. So it's on board with P2 at the moment, currently closing up on Zemon at the moment for P1. So again, Wolf is not too far behind as well.
I can just give you, gentlemen, a clarification. The incident between Wolf and Quick has been reviewed. Racing incident.
There we go. So we're going to allow that as a racing incident. So like I said, it was very good sportsmanship as we saw there. You know, Quirk did wait. Unfortunately, Wolf did lose a couple of positions from that, but as did Quirk as well. So, you know, that seems to be the right decision for that incident.
Yes. So, gentlemen, we have something interesting happening here. If you direct your attention towards P14 on the scoring pylon, you'll notice that driver who is running up the sort of top of the grid has now been the first to really make a pit stop at this point. Of course, you are required to make a pit stop at some point in this race. So we'll keep an eye on him as he continues to free fall through a bit. Be interesting to see. He's the first real player in this race that took a pit stop. We'll see whenever this cycles through exactly where he ends up. That will be interesting. So follow along at home with that to see where the number 21 car ends up after everyone else stops.
Yeah, we've got a few more guys that have taken a pit as well, but let's go down from P23 as well, looking at the relatives. So looks like we've got about 5 or 6 people taking a pit stop now at the halfway mark. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm guessing a lot of people might be actually taking a pit sort of in the next sort of 20 minutes or so, I'd imagine. But it looks like
Matushka, I'm sorry, Simon,
Yes.
but Matushka just did the most insane overtake around the back of Rariela there. I mean, we were following his rear-facing camera. You just saw the pink Lambo come around the outside, and he got the work done. And he's now going to challenge Zeman for first into the second chicane, almost also trying to go around the outside.
And he's
might
done
have
it.
the
I think
space
he's done
to do it, and he's done it. Matushka, absolute mad racing.
Excellent stuff there. There we go. So we've got Zemon really right now on the back end of Wolf. But yeah, Wolf has managed to get 2 positions within a couple of turns. That's absolutely awesome. Zemon's just gone wide, as you see in the rear view. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see that. So this is where Zemon is now going to be put under pressure with Vero in the behind. So we're just going to quickly jump over to Vero.
Anyone who loses a position around the outside of De La Roggia is going to have a mental space problem for the next lap, because you know that drivers are going to be like, ooh, you should not have lost that after having the inside covered, mate.
But George, 2 consecutive chicanes. He made 2 moves to the outside. Not only did they both stick, they were both clean, and now he's the leader. He went from 3rd to 1st in Sector 1.
Absolutely.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah, Varela had made a big mistake there. He's lost 2 positions as well as he come out of... 1 second, sorry.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there. It's unfortunate. You run a little wide and everything. But again, these little small mistakes, they're not going to end your race by any stretch of the imagination. It's not the end of the world. It's completely fine. And as you can see with Varela, he's back on, he's in 5th place, but he's still in the back of these guys. And by the way, gentlemen, Tobias Queck has caught up to this group that have been fighting with Wolf Matushka getting all the way back through. He's in 4th place. He could be 3rd at the end of this lap. He's looking racy again, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what's happening is obviously, you know, I think Quirk earlier on probably pushed a bit too hard, you know, and obviously maybe he's just realised he's had to sort of back off a bit to save his tyres, because again, he's still got another 45 minutes or 44 minutes left of the race here, so you only have about half an hour through the race at the moment, so not quite the halfway point.
I'd like to just draw some attention to the prediction side of things. You know, Paco Lara started in 6th place, currently holding down 3rd after all the shenanigans that have taken place. Obviously, not to curse him, Paco Lara, I'm not supporting you here. That's my disclaimer. But a great drive for someone that would be supporting you.
Oh dear, I picked
So
Tobias
Hunters,
quick and
yeah.
there was contact, huh? Oh dear, sorry Tobias, I didn't mean to do that to you.
There we go, yeah. So Jean looking a little bit not so stable in his current car at the moment. I don't know if he's got damage or whatnot, but he was went quite wide on T1 there, and he was obviously off the grass just after T1, so very interesting. Currently P17 at the moment. Jump back over to Lara quickly, because again he is currently only 4 tenths off of Zeman for P2 at the moment. So again, we've still got most of the front runners here yet to pit. So it's going to be interesting to see if they all decide to follow each other into the pit when they decide to do it, maybe in the next sort of 15-20 minutes or so.
There's definite undercut potential coming out from the train of drivers up at the front with their pit strategies if they want to try them, or they can try and extend their stints. Like we said, we can get quite nerdy into just the schematics of and the details of what you can really do when you're given such sort of openness with your pit strategy. You can do whatever you like, whenever you like. You just got to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, the guy in the chat there. So his current fastest lap is a 153.3. His last lap was a 153.9. The guys at the front are doing a lap battle. 152.3 is their sort of pace at the moment. So he's about a good second off the pace currently.
And guys, we're talking about that undercut. We're talking about the potential of gaining positions when the cars are this close to each other. That is absolutely a possibility. And I told you guys earlier, pay attention to the number 21 car, Kramer, because he was one of the first fast guys, or front running guys, if you will, to come into pit. And he has passed the 21 by virtue of pitting earlier. That was the reverse earlier. The 22 was in front of the 21, unless I'm very much mistaken, and now the 21 is in front of him. So I foresee that to continue to happen as there is a fight for third here.
There is, yes. I just literally jumped over to that, yeah. So it looks like Quirk has managed to get the overtake done. But that has put him up to P3 at the moment.
Very squeaky clean, just threw it into the parabolica and hang tight on the inside. And that's going to force Lara to pit road, by the way. Lara losing spot. Not a bad decision, really, in my mind. I mean, you getting overtaken, why not?
Absolutely. I mean, do you want us the halfway mark is what? 37 minutes and a half is the halfway mark with the 75-minute race. So, yeah, I mean, realistically, you are going to look at a lot of people sort of pitting around now anyway. Like I said, it depends if these guys are going to be taking tyres or not. I don't know. Ryan, could you let us know what that 15-second penalty was? Do you know? Was that to do with you?
Yes, David Palazzi has he received a 15-second time penalty. He had spun round. I can't remember which car it was specifically. It might have been the 18 car. He had spun around after the. He'd spun the 18 car around after the first chicane, did not give the place back, and then had a second dangerous rejoin onto the track. So, considering... sorry, he did give the place back, but he did have a second dangerous rejoin. So, after a consultation with another steward, a 15-second time penalty for dangerous behaviour has been given.
There we go. So at the moment, this is something interesting going on at P15 here.
Oh, Dada goes in deep. He's made a little bit of a mistake there as well. Mazzolini didn't know where he was going.
Oh, no.
I thought he was expecting a move to be made.
Yeah, so
But,
that's really got mixed up.
It has, and it's just afforded the cars behind to just capitalize off things. But yeah, I mean, it was Mazzolini and Dada coming through Parabolica. They were kind of, that's where the move was done by Mazzolini. And then things have now changed up a little bit. Voptka just takes a free position there, really.
Yeah, and guys, sorry to cut in, but there has just been contact between second place Zeman and third place Tobias Queck in Ascari. Queck sends Zeman around, and now Queck has come into pit road. And just a correction, I've been told by chat that the 22 car had to do repairs, or did elect to do repairs. after the opening lap incident that they were involved in, so the undercut didn't work. So just a little bit of housekeeping there for you guys.
Absolutely. Someone saying it looks like public lobby. I think this is far off a public lobby. I mean, you know, like I said, guys, jump in these cars, try for yourself. I mean, you have to really be focused with these cars on this track. You know, at the end of the day, ACC is not rewarding you for overdriving the car. You know, you have to really put your head down and really sort of work on these cars to really gain the times that these guys are gaining. You know, like I said, you know, some of these guys are actually getting into the 150s with their sort of times. You know, we've got guys here who are very, very, very quick. You can't even get close to these times. So, yeah,
Simon,
that's your opinion.
I think the T1 incident there really just highlights how not like a public lobby it would be. I mean, a little bit late on the brakes from data coming in there. There was enough sort of knowledge to see that there was a car coming in. The car in front didn't just turn in, and it was literally just a tiny little bump in the rear end. I think it's a pretty clean drive for a little mistake that was made, and that's the kind of racing that you really want to see is guys being cautious. And yeah, mistakes happen. It's really how you handle yourself afterwards that really counts.
Exactly, and that's why you've got these escapes, you know, so you use them at these sort of things, especially in the real cars. You know, you wouldn't want to just round straight into another car. You know, you're in a day, you just want to be sort of trying to save that amount of money that's that car obviously costs in real life.
Ryan, if you're there, could you tell us a bit more about the 333 cars drive-through penalty?
Yes, I can. Tobias Queck had contact with Zeman, as you did point out prior. Upon investigation, it was a dive bomb attempt from too far back, and of course the place was not given back, so stewards have decided drive-through penalty is the only appropriate course of action.
Thank you very much, Ryan. That information there is invaluable. That's kind of, you know, I saw there was a bit of a move there. The camera was not as hospitable to me. I did not see exactly what had happened, but thank you anyway for that. And gentlemen, we are having a rash of pit stops here for some of the top runners, in fact. And I just want to give a call to Jose Llamas, who was added to the Tier 2 championship late, and he has had some fantastic races for a driver that didn't have much practice, I should say, with some of these other guys. And he's running well up into the top 10, and he just made a pit stop. And it's awesome to see somebody like him, who was a new name to me, come in and just do good things, have good races.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, that's it. We've got live stewarding today, you know, purely for these cars. You know, like I said, we're seeing how this obviously goes. You know, with these cars and Monza, and you know, if obviously this race is going well, which it seems to be pretty clean at the moment. Nothing to sort of shout home about really. So we probably will look to obviously run a championship with these cars. Like I said, we've got a lot of new guys who have joined us today in Redline to take part in this race. So, you know, so a lot of new names. So we don't really, there's a lot of unknowns from us to know how well these guys drive. So this is just, like I said, purely just a fun event today. And yeah, it just gives us more data on drivers to see who's going to be the clean ones and who are the ones we're going to chuck out, basically. You know, so again, you know, we have driver sort of profiles. We have the stats on them, so then, you know, we know that when they sign up for the big sort of endurance races we do. So we've got the 12-hour race actually on the 18th of April this year. So yeah, do check that out. So yeah, so when these guys come to sign up to these sort of big events, the 12-hour races and stuff, you know, we have that data on these guys to say, well, hang on a minute, you know, you're a bit naughty going into T1 and took a couple of guys out. We don't think you're going to be suitable for this race type thing. So yeah, so again, you know, we reward people for racing cleanly. That's what our goal is about.
This little battle between Borade and Chalmonle is going to heat up as well. The one that you were showing on screen.
Yes.
Those two have been really just heating up in the last couple of laps. So I'm keen to see when you jump back there as we watch Lamas. Is he going for a move around the outside?
It looks like it at the moment.
He's going to try. I mean, that's not the ideal line out of the end of the Parabolica. That would be Springer on the inside. And Springer with a much better exit, but the slip will go the way of Kramer's direction. He's elected not to take it for the entire duration. You see how he's just struggling to get alongside now. May have pulled out a little bit early, maybe later on the brakes, and he is going to be later on the brakes there. He's going to secure that inside line in a nice clean move. being done by Lamas.
There we go. So yeah, jump back over to Boris quickly, as you were just mentioning there.
Sorry, no, it was Borodai and Chamandle, but they've kind of they've kind of fallen off a little bit now. I'm not quite sure. It looks like Palazzi will be under. Oh, Palazzi was just being lapped there by Chamandle on my my timing screen.
Can I just say, guys, that I've been really impressed with the lap cars here. Maybe you didn't have such a great start of the race. Maybe your pace isn't quite as great as some of these guys. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, that there's a definite mix of skill levels here, and it was always designed to be that way. And I've seen nothing but respect from these lap cars so far. Every time they come up on one, they're very cautiously getting out of the way or moving over a little bit to let the faster car through, and it's very nice. It's refreshing to see that. I mean, it's not something that's uncommon here at RLM, but just in general, it's nice to actually see that sort of communication between drivers or sportsmanship, I should say.
It's something that's not really mentioned a lot as well. As Borodai here going to have a look. Sorry, I'll talk about the sportsmanship, but Borodai going to have a look up into the inside of T1 of Chamandle. And it looks like he's going to go a little bit deep. It might give the undercut. No, Chamandle's run wide, touched the dirt, and compromised his exit. So Borodai getting the work done. We've seen a lot of passes being done at T1 tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. Seems to be the ideal spot, isn't it, really? That and sort of having the toe out of Parabolica is you know, which is obviously what's leading up to the T1. Just literally say, getting that toe and just putting out at the right time, that you can sort of get that bit of slingshot just to take that inside line into T1.
I think it just highlights just how much that toe is important to just hang on to, and you know, if a move's not going to be done, just having that mindset to know that as long as you hold on to the end, if you get into the straights, you're going to have the advantage over the car in front of you just by having an aero advantage.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Jesse, I mean, you talked about the back markers just being well behaved and getting out of the way. Broadcasters don't often talk about it, and I'm so glad that you did mention it because it's something that makes the racing as real life and as sim-like as possible. Is you will have skill gaps, and you will have these instances where there's cars that are, you know, slightly off track or not on pace with everybody else, and it's just so important not to ruin someone else's race. And just great work being done by everybody here to drive cleanly and give everyone respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely couldn't agree more, George. It's fantastic to see, and it's not something you typically see in like let's say a pub lobby or even some league racing where lap cars don't necessarily respect the blue flags or what have you. I'm not gonna guess too much, but you know, it's one of those things that when you see it, I feel like I appreciate it, because certainly whenever I'm the lap car, I try to get out of the way, and whenever I'm passing a lap car, I try to be as hospitable as possible without impeding. And it's just, I appreciate that kind of racing. I love to point stuff out like that. And gentlemen, as you can see, we only have a few cars left that haven't pitted, and I'm wondering what Wolf Matuszka is playing at here. He's inevitably going to be one of the last cars to pit here. Is that a smart call?
Well, going by obviously what happened on Friday's race with Chris Hockey, you know, he pitted to the very last moment, you know, and you know, he gained 4 positions by pitting later on with that fresh set of tyres. Obviously, we don't know if any of these guys are actually going to be taking tyres, but looking at obviously where was he to Varela, you know, he was in for the pits for quite a long time when he popped in earlier on, so I'm guessing he went in for fuel and tyres himself. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what their strategies is and what they've actually done.
Just to mention quickly on obviously the pit strategies, worth noting that because of how powerful the slipstream is around here at Monza, especially for these cars, it could be that Wolf Matuszka's plan is to essentially stay out as long as possible to, in a sense, not give Varela and Lara that chance to regain the slipstream. If you look at Varela at the moment, he's got about 13 seconds to the car ahead. So he's got no slipstream to assist him like he did have when he was chasing down Wolf Matuszka. So Wolf might be playing that into his hands a bit, that Varela and Lara don't exactly have anyone to get slipstream off of the moment.
You love racing driver tactics, don't you? They're always different. Everybody's got their own opinion, and at the end of the day, only one of them can be right. That's part of the motorsport gambit, and I love it.
That's right, yeah. So, yeah, Wolf is still currently on race leader at the moment, so there's still the top 4 still having to pit, so they're staying out for quite a while at the moment, but there's quite a big gap at the moment between P3 and 4 at the moment. It's really sort of spread out, so we'll see what happens once these guys are pitted, and then I guess we'll be back onto the action once this all sort of settled down, because at the moment the grid is looking a bit sort of spread out right now, due to obviously the pit stop. So, yeah, I mean, it's...
Don't mean to interrupt you, sorry, but
ahead, yes.
Yuri Turkia is on the back of Ronche at the moment, coming into the first chicane. Yuri Turkia going to go on the outside line for the first chicane, but he's going to get it done fairly well, as someone's just missed turn 1 completely.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to pick up a drive-through penalty, but I don't think they've gained any time. Yuri Turkia obviously gaining the place there, but now he's going to be under pressure coming towards the second chicane. He's going to run the 85 out wide. No contact there between the two of them. Quite clean, and Yuri Turkia just defending his line. That's compromised him a bit into the second chicane as we come up towards the first of the 2 Lesmos. I think he is going to have the move done.
Yeah, so we can see that Ronch at the moment is, well, he was on the back end of Yuri then. Looks like this made a small mistake there, which obviously cost him a few attempts out of that corner. A little bit of tail wiggle there as he come out of the next corner, but yeah, looks like Yuri has got a better exit there, and he's put trying to pull away. So
that's the second time we've seen a car go into turn 1 around the outside and make the move. I might have a new hero after today. Turkey just threw it in there and got the move done. Oh, and he hits the dirt a little bit, but so does Ronch behind him, so no harm, no foul there. You're trying to get every millimeter out of these cars, every millimeter out of the track, and whenever you're in identical cars, that's absolutely, ultimately important.
Oh yeah,
Ronch is he's on the verge of just overdriving this car. It's almost just flailing to try and keep up here, and coming very deep into Parabolica there. We saw him making mistakes through the Lesmos. The exit there cost him down the straights, and here again, just not in the slip or the toe of the car up in front of him, which is Turkey. And that's kind of Monza, right? It's got so many big, he's very deep. He might be losing a little bit of braking here, or he's trying to brake later. But Ronch is struggling to really throw the anchors down on that blue Super Trofeo car.
Yeah, absolutely. So, still got the top 4 still willing to pit yet. So, like I said, they're really going to wait till the very last lap maybe to actually pit. So, are they just going to go straight in for a splash and dash? My guess is they are. I don't think they will be wanting to take tyres, because I think, like I said, Wolf has been sort of overdrove the car already, hasn't he? He sort of kept his cool when Quirk got in front of him earlier on in the race. And obviously he's not really had too much pressure now. He's got quite a nice gap with the lead at the moment. So just jump over to the race leader at the moment.
You are right. I don't think it's the time of the race that you would be changing your tires up. I mean, you've kind of lost the benefit of getting a full use out of the first set and then throwing on the second and getting the absolute grip that you would need for the rest of the race. You've kind of committed at this stage now to just a splash and dash, I feel. But yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on these cars on their worn out sets of tires, because I've not had much experience with them at this sort of level.
So it looks like the grid's starting to get a bit mixed up at the moment. So I just want to jump over this to Villa as well, because it looks like we'll have one for a freeway battle here as well, with P10 down to P8, and we've also got a bit of a battle going on for P5. So it's starting to materialise, and also looks like we have something going on between P14 as well. So if any of you guys can sort of jump onto those other sort of positions at the moment, it looks like we could be in for a lot of action right now.
Yes, I've indeed been watching Laura get all over the back of Verleo right now, and very respectful, very clean. We've seen that a lot here today, haven't we? But it's just, he gets right up to him, and there's no place to make a move, and he loses a little bit, then he gains a little bit, and he ducks in and out of the slipstream. It's quite entertaining to watch.
Absolutely, yeah. So currently on with Raunch again at the moment as he's side by side. So a battle for P13 at the moment, by the looks of it.
Ron's going to have the inside line for De La Roggia. No, he doesn't. He's not side by side. He's going to tuck. And again, they will go around the circuit of Monza, trying to find that one little place that they can get that move done. And you can just see how tight the racing is. Every driver seems to have a sector or a place that they seem to be a little bit better than the driver ahead. And it's just caused this fight to break out as we see. I think that's Dada getting the move done on Vodka.
I believe, yeah, how do you pronounce that? Yeah, so yeah, currently P21.
I mean, I don't even know if it. Yeah, I don't even know if they've switched it out. They're just scrapping at this point. That's the battle for 20th and 21st.
Yes, so it's literally just got really mixed up at the moment. A little bit of contact there. He's just taking him out. So that's going to have to be investigated there, Ryan, for P20, P21.
Yeah, it's always a shame when that happens, but if it is going to happen, it is going to happen in the chicane. And, you know, life imitates art as well. How many times have you seen in actual GT3 racing where two cars get down into the first chicane and make a little mistake, and that happens?
Absolutely. We've got a freeway battle going on for P14 as well at the moment. So there's lots going on.
Yes, indeed here. This is an interesting battle because you have all these drivers, of course, have made their pit stops. Only the top four have yet to pit, but everybody here tucks back in line for turn one. They didn't feel like making the move there, but this group now led by, who's that? Tobias Quack, actually, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
yes,
that's Quack.
Quack, yeah.
Is green Lamborghini that he promised you quite identifiable from the helicam?
Yes, indeed. I love it. I love it. I love it when drivers come talk to us, and I love it when they call their shot. Again, he said he was going to be driving a green Lambo. Did not even put it together, he meant today. But these cars, this battle's not over as they are nose to tail, and any tiny little mistake will cost any of these drivers one, maybe two positions.
Absolutely, yeah. It's getting very, very interesting now. Freeway battle. Like I said, we see this usually all the time, and it's usually the guy that's waiting for the overtakes with the two guys in front battling out. They usually end up getting the two positions. So we'll see if how this happens at the moment. It looks like he's not got so much of the toe at the moment. But he might catch
it looks
up
like,
on
I mean,
the braking.
it looks like drivers, I mean, Stanek is trying to just hold the line here. It looks like the drivers in front of him are trying to break toe from one another. So he, like you said, is just looking to see when one of them makes a mistake and he can just lunge into things. Stanek, Zajic, and is that Quack all go into the dive for Parabolica. Again, with 21 minutes left of racing, it's going to get absolutely hair-raising for the last section of this race.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ryan, do you have information for us about the 42 car?
Yes, I have. Jan Vapatka, who collided with Durda into turn one, that has been investigated. It seemed that Vapatka was nowhere near alongside to make an inside lunge into the first chicane, and he has not given the place to Durda back, so a drive-through penalty has been delivered.
Harsh but fair. Unfortunately, he did spin him around. He didn't give the position back, so there you go. He gets a drive-through from our live steward. So there we are. Like I said, we obviously punish those who obviously don't have very good sportsmanship. So there we are. So it looks like there might be a battle going on at the moment for P5 as well. Is this a freeway battle, or is this my camera's lying to me at the moment? Looks like it might be lying with me with Lam. Let's have a quick look at Lara. Laura is closing up on P5, so my relatives is lying to me. Looks like the battle still is going on between P14, the P16 and the P14. This is where the most of the action is going on right now. So we'll stay with these for this three at the moment.
Oh my goodness, I think
Stanek is... Zayak just got overtaken by Stanek, who was on the grass for the run. I don't think Zayak had the best of exits there.
He didn't know, but he managed to get the overtake done, though. That's very interesting. You wouldn't have thought he'd had so much grip out of that corner exit to obviously manage to get the overtake there, but you know he obviously managed it. So fair play to him for obviously not having to spin out from that.
Yeah, guys, Zayak kind of missed the first Lesmo there, he didn't get the apex, and I think that it got him a bit loose because when you miss the apex, you're offline, obviously. And even with the bit of the bobble on the exit, you saw it. Stanek was still able to make that pass and make it look smooth.
Absolutely, yeah. So
So
I
what
mean,
we
that's
have is,
always.
sorry, go on.
Sorry, Jesse. Go. No, you go ahead there.
I was actually going to ask you a question, George. Sorry, I was going to ask you: are you aware of how long the brakes last? You mentioned the brakes earlier. Are these brakes sort of identical to how the GT3 car brakes work in this sim?
You know what? I haven't had long stints of testing them, but I mean, if they're running with sort of brake sets to, I actually I couldn't tell you, but I would say that the brakes shouldn't be falling off in a 75-minute race. That they really do last quite a long time. I think it was more braking markers that were being extended previously.
I see.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've noticed a lot of the brake marking borders have been broken by some of these drivers, so it's definitely messing up some of the people's braking zones.
There's a reason why they tell you when you're starting to learn to sim race to pick something on the track that is non-destructible, and that's the reason why. Because if you're relying on brake blocking, ooh, is that Varela? Is he just passing a back marker? Or is that Lara?
I believe that is Laura, isn't it? Let me just
Oh,
double check this.
It was a back
It's
marker.
back marker. Okay, so just
Yeah, it was the back marker. It was the timing. The timing sheet just gets excited. It gives us a bit of hype for Parabolica. It was just a back marker, but Varela gets a hyped overtake on the back marker regardless.
so we've still got 4 people yet to pit, so they're really holding out to the very last moments to do this pit stop. So yeah, I'm just waiting to see when Wolf and that is going to finally go into the pits here, but still trying to wait to get a time up on Wolf to see how far an advantage he's got off of P2. I can't see any sort of relative at the moment. But what I will do is look at Parabolica at the moment. Just quickly jump over to Boris, see where he is currently, and get a point of view right now. So he's quite far back by the looks of it. So I would say he's a good sector behind, if not 2 almost. So it looks like he might have about a good sort of maybe 30-second lead by the looks of this.
Well, just as you say that, Simon, Coleman Dealey has come in to do his pit stop. I can confirm it was a completely routine and normal pit stop. Took about as much time as you'd expect to get in. It did seem a bit shorter than some of the other guys that came in earlier, and he's back out. As far as I can tell, he has remained inside. No, I am incorrect. He's not remained inside the top 10. He's just outside of it in 12th place. So now, actually, no, I'm incorrect again. The timing and scoring keeps moving on me. He's somewhere around 15th, as it turns out. But there are still 3 cars that haven't pitted yet, and those are the sort of fast boys, if you will.
There we go, yeah. So it is actually a real overtake here between Kermir and Springer. Looks like it must have been. It looks like Springer did manage to get the overtake there on Kramer at the moment, so nicely done.
Yeah, the question still is, when will Wolf Matushka come in? Will you have to force him in? I would suggest getting some Reese's Pieces and luring him down pit road if I was his race engineer, because he obviously doesn't want to pit. If I know Wolf, he would like to be probably the last person on pit road. He doesn't want his race interrupted in any possible way. And I think you guys were right on earlier talking about maybe not giving the other drivers the option of doing the undercut. And certainly, as Simon was mentioning, his gap, that seems to be part of the plan here. I mean, if you're one of the fastest, if not the fastest guys, why wouldn't you stay out as long as possible?
Absolutely, yeah. So interesting battle at the moment for P15 right now. So yeah, see what's going to materialise from this at the moment. I believe, is that an actual battle going on between P10 and 11 at the moment? I might have to jump over to them shortly as well, because they look pretty close together, unless my time of order is wrong.
Zayak has been holding onto the back of Shamandli here for the last couple of turns. I've been following along with you. And nice and clean driving coming out, not making a dive bomb move anywhere, just trying to figure out where this driver makes errors in the number 79 car and seeing where the number 69 can sort of capitalize on that. So Zayak really just trying to read the driver ahead of him here. You do see him close down in certain sectors, and as they come up to the second chicane, he's a little bit off the mark of where he was on the previous lap, but that gap will probably close down.
Absolutely. Just want to quickly jump over to Yuri, because it looks like Yuri is also having a good battle here for P10 at the moment. So we've got Yuri and Kramer at the moment, so this is getting very interesting. Almost side by side now.
Just a quick update for you guys. Wolf Batushka obviously has come in and has now served his mandatory pit stop. He came in P1, he comes out in P1.
It looks like he's got a 54-second lead, isn't it? Sorry, go ahead,
Turkey round the outside of Ascari this time. Like, this is definitely, Jesse was talking about it earlier, this man is definitely trying to impress, driving these Super Trofeo cars on the absolute limits. Round the outside, it does not matter, you can't defend. Kramer going on the inside, a bit of a big dive. He had to abandon there, and he's caused the contact with Turkey, but he's still on the track and lapping around. Kramer making a little mistake coming in there, missed his braking point, and kind of didn't really have anywhere to go. Tried his best to avoid Turkey, and a little bit of an incident, but both of them still able to continue.
Absolutely, yeah. Ryan, you probably want to have a quick look at that one as well, because it was quite a big dive bomb that obviously did make contact there into Parabolica. So, yeah, just have a quick have a look, see if it's worth a penalty for that.
I can tell you, George, you're talking about Turkey and wanting to impress. I said that he's quickly becoming one of my favorite drivers, and it's really working on me. The amount of times that you can go around the outside and get a pass done, that's superhuman superhero stuff. And it looks so good. I mean, I can't do it once. These guys are doing it 2 or 3 times in the last hour. They're superhuman. There's no way.
Yeah, I'm doing Jesse. We've got so many battles on right now. I'm currently on P13 at the moment for a battle for P12. Yeah, so lots is starting to materialise in the last sort of 12 minutes of the race. I mean, as you well know, Jesse, we seem to always have a lot of action come near the end of the races.
Time.
Oh, you're 100% right, because Quake is trying to hold off Ronch, and Stanek is right behind again in that position where he wants to try and lunge on the cars fighting in front of him. So a 3-way car battle going down. That would be the battle for P12, which Quick currently holds down. Riding on board with Ronch as they come up to Ascari, and you just see a train of cars up ahead, starting to look and just try and see where the grip levels are still sitting with these cars. These guys are driving them on the absolute limits. You see dirt being kicked up as they run quite wide, and it will be Ronch to tuck in behind Quick before Parabolica as they make their run down again to T1, which is where we've seen a lot of moves being done. So it all comes down to holding it down through Parabolica here, getting a good exit and giving yourself the best opportunity down to the run on T1. And Ronch has gone very, very wide. They're luckily still onto the concrete, so not losing and scrapping any speed off, but not going to be in the ideal place for a slip. He's going to catch slowly, but it won't be enough to get to T1 just yet.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Looks like I've got a few back marks in front of him, I believe. Is that right?
Just a quick update for you guys. After reviewing the incident between Nico Krima and Yuri Turkia, as Nico Krima did back off after the contact with Yuri Turkia, he will not be given a penalty, but he is on a final warning.
There we go, yeah. So we don't like people who dive bomb into corners, that's for sure. So, like I said, you need to obviously... Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Sorry. I mean, we thought those were back markers in front of this little train. Those guys, Turkia and Kramer, are full position. I mean, these guys could change things up in the last couple of laps. 10 minutes to go, and this is where everybody is just pushing to their limits, right?
Absolutely, yes, they sure are.
Can we talk about the strength of a driver who was given a drive-through penalty and is still threatening to finish inside the top 10? That's Tobias Queck. It's incredible stuff. And Queck's saying to Ronch right now, if you'll give me a second, I can get into top 10 and you can continue this fight. And Stanek in 14th is like, I've seen this movie before. I'm just going to wait for Ronch to make a little mistake, and I'll go by and I'll get me some free positions. See if he can do that again. But yeah, this is interesting. You have basically 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th here, and 10th is just a second or so up the road. This is good stuff. This is definitely going to continue to get more and more interesting. These RLM races always do that as Quick gets a little loose in Parabolica, and he gathers it back up and he goes, you didn't see that on camera, and continues his pursuit of Kramer. I think he might, in a lap's time, have this done, guys.
Kramer's trying to break the slip from Quick. He's got Ronch and Stanek up behind. This is going to be an absolute crack. We're going to go for the outside next to next to Kramer side by side. Will Quick manage to get another move done? He seems to have the inside here. Quick does it done. Kramer might lose out bigly because he's got Ronch and Stanek up behind as well. Everybody leading the charge. And Kramer's not done quite yet because Quick is side by side. He will go into Della Roger. We're riding on board with Ronch. He's trying to find a way past. We've got Quick going for the inside. Ronch doesn't know where he needs to go. Both of the men on the brakes. Oh, what great driving coming out. Quick has got the move done. Stanek is on the back end of, who's that on Wrench? Kramer, he's lost out quite heavily and now holding everybody up. Quick's got away. Look at Quick. He's loving this.
Absolutely, yeah. Raunch has also gone for a move as well. He has gone really late into the braking zone, and it looks like he's got the move done as well. There's some great racing so far.
I don't know if you saw there, Kramer getting off onto the grass of the exit of Lesmo 2, and just losing out big time again.
He sure is, yeah. We just see that as well, so...
Ryan, if you're there, can you tell us why Alexander Bordai has a stop-and-go penalty, please?
I can actually give you an update for that. That is nothing to do with the live stewards. That is a pit lane infringement.
Oh, dear. That will ruin his good race, I am afraid. That's not what you want, is it? 30 seconds, that'll take you right down the order.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially this late on into the race, unfortunately, but it is what it is.
Kotov's just got to stop go. He's had to go into the pits. Has he gone into the pits? He was running in second.
Ryan, feel free to chime in when you have the answer to that. It certainly looked like he was coming out of pit road. That could be another pit road infringement if that is the case.
I can confirm
I think he was.
Kotov has also received a stop-and-go penalty for pit lane infringement, both of them for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Got the
7 minutes. 7 minutes left of the race, and that's what's happened.
That's RLM in
Absolutely
a nutshell,
devastating.
George. It's heartbreak and heart-pounding action, and that's what you get every single race. My heart goes out to those guys. I mean, you've been racing for well over an hour at this point, and you're having a really good race. Both of these cars were inside the top 10 at some point and having a really good race. And something that simple, a little mental lapse, getting the lines wrong of where you can gas it up, getting your MFD wrong, all of these tiny little things, these minuscule things, they can completely change your race. And, oh my goodness, there's nothing scarier than a stop-go.
Yes, go ahead, mate, yeah.
Simon, you just captured something quite beautiful on stream there. I mean, that's a battle down in 25th and 6th.
That's right, yes.
Batsy gets the move done on Hamu.
Yeah, awesome awesome to see that, wasn't it? So as he come through Parabolic there up to the past the pits, he managed to get the overtake done just before the T1. So yeah, nicely done there. So there's a lot of interesting battles going on right across the grid at the moment, even right down the back of the field. So great to see. So it looks like there seems to be some interesting action going on again for P9 down to P11 at the moment. So we will stay with these guys again. Getting very, very interesting.
Oh, Stanek, is that Stanek and Quick going side by side now? Stanek's just had a great drive coming out, and they're going to just change up positions. It's going to be Quick going for the inside to defend. Stanek going to go for the outside. Doesn't have the slip. Lates on the brakes as well. Reels him back in, but just will tuck back around for T1. No outside overtaking moves to excite Simon, Jesse, and myself.
No, that's it. So it was nicely done, though. So yeah, awesome to see that.
It's all about balance and finding the time and finding the right moment. And that's what really separates good sim races from great sim races, is that patience and that virtue to know when to wait and when to push. And Stanek again will be tucked up just next to Quick before Lesmo number 1.
We'll jump over quickly, yeah, because we've got lots of action going on.
He's going to get the move done. Oh, he's going to get the move done for now. Quick going to have to fire back as they go to Lesmo 2 before the run. And it's going to be Ronch pressuring Quick now. Like we said, the car in front always loses out, it seems.
Absolutely. We've got so many battles going on at the moment. We've even got battle going on for P4 at the moment as well. P5 even, sorry. So yeah, I'm trying to flick through between these two battles right now. Lots of action going on for the last few minutes of the race. So crazy stuff. So we'll jump back over to P9 again to see how these guys are doing.
Yeah, and I mean, Stanek really came away victorious there. I mean, you saw just where he was coming into T1 behind Quick, and he's just had a little run away now as Ronch decides that he wants to have a battle with that bright green Lamborghini Super Trofeo as they go around Parabolica once more. And Ronch, again, like we talked about, the slipstream going to go his way. I don't think that Quick is going to benefit off Stanek's slipstream too much, but Stanek still trying to break it regardless. Ronch going to be having a look-see to try and see if he can get himself in the top 10. Currently, Quick holding that down.
Yeah, interesting race so far. It's been pretty awesome, pretty stacked pretty much throughout the whole race really. Not really been that many quiet times. Literally it was only a little bit between obviously getting the last guys in to get their pits in, but as soon as they got their pits back in, it was literally straight back to action for the last sort of 20 minutes of the race. Been, yeah, pretty epic to see. So looks like we've still got a lot of action going on at the moment. The Yuri's not too far ahead here, so it could be an interesting freeway battle for the next couple of laps. Just seeing where the race leader is at the moment. He's just going over the start-finish line, so it looks like we're going to be for another 2 more laps, I'd say, after this one. That's going to be very interesting. Samuel Villa is currently on the back end of Zimon at the moment. A little bit of contact. I will just try and get the replay of that so we can just see exactly what happened there. Try and get a different camera angle.
I wonder if that was just a
no,
curb
it was.
hop.
Yeah, it was. It was a curb hop. Yeah, no contact there. Just literally just too much curb there, and that's just sent him around, unfortunately. So big shame to see that so late on in the race. It's definitely going to cost him.
So lucky not to make contact with any walls or anything. Just kind of spin yourself around. That could have gone way worse for Villa. And he was just doing so well, pushing way too hard. I mean, that's where you're going to be driving on the limits at this stage of the race, and just unfortunately didn't work out for him. Ronch, we're on board with him as he has a look at Quick again coming through Parabolica. It's all about this exit, and Ronch looking like he
small mistake, wasn't it?
The drive out, yeah.
No,
he made a mistake coming in, didn't get the exit out, and then now you sacrifice another lap, which you might not have. I mean, we've got 1 minute 40 left of the race timer, so you don't have that much time to get things done, and this is where it all counts.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see where Wolf is at the moment. He's currently just gone through Ascari, so he's coming down to Parabolica, so looks like we have got 1 more lap to go after this.
Yeah, we're at a really interesting predicament here at RLM because we can only cover so much, and it's such a weird thing to have to apologize for, but we can only show so many battles at one time, and there just seems to be constant battle after battle for different positions up and down the grid as Wolf Matushka has come to get the 1 to go sign. He's on the final lap, and what a race it's been for Wolf Matushka just to kind of wrap up his day. He had the pole, he started on pole, had an immediate fight with Tobias Quick that ended peacefully, and then it reignited later in the race. There was some contact. They ended up, about 3rd or 4th, and they both came back to the front, and then there was some late dramas, and it all ends up with Wolf Matushka having an excellent pit strategy and getting out front.
Absolutely, yes. So Timo Wolf is at the moment, he's still got another sort of half a lap to go before he comes over the finish line, so we'll jump over to him shortly in case something's going to happen. But looks like we've got another great battle going on again at the moment.
Ronch is going to be Ronch is going to be side by. He's going to be ahead of Quick.
Yeah, he's behind the back marker as well.
And the inside line, they are going to try and hold it, but Ronch, he's actually got a better drive out of there. Quick, he just lost a little bit of drive, a little bit of traction, kept it together. But Ronch, on the last lap, is going to lead things he needs to defend against Quick. And what a battle.
Quick.
This is the battle for 10th. Quick,
Absolutely.
He's going to have to go from the outside.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm going to have to split the screen over. So we've got currently the race leader down at the bottom right at the moment, so he's literally coming not far off the final corner here to take the race win, but we will keep the other battle on screen at the top left, so we will stay for this view for the moment. Go ahead, yeah.
You didn't miss much. I mean, Quick just went round the outside of Ronch, and Ronch has handed it back to him on their final lap here. So unless he can fight back, Quake has got the job done in T1 of the final lap.
There we go. It looks like Wolf is about to go over the finish line. So Wolf takes pole. So great race there for Wolf Matiska.
That's another feather in the cap for Wolf Matushka, who has become an instant star here at RLM. And, of course, winning so many races in the seasonal championship and, of course, the 6-hour race. And now this race today.
Dada and Kramer, the battle for 20th and 21st, is also heating up on the screen. Dada is just defending as hard as he can against Kramer, and that's a battle for 20th and 21st.
Oh, this battle for 10th isn't over. There may have been contact, guys. Sorry to butt in, but Ranch may have had contact with Tobias Queck there. Ranch now back out in front as they are in Ascari. This is coming to the line. Everything on the line here. Queck is not giving up his pursuit as he dives to the left a little bit, and now he's going to be back in front. Unsure if Ranch actually gave that position back because there was contact. Not quite sure, but here they go down into Parabolica. Now Ranch says it's all to play for, and he doesn't quite get the run, but he does get a run in the Parabolica. Just not sure if it's going to be enough. That was incredible stuff as they come to the line.
Awesome stuff. So yeah, great to see there. Wow, what a finish to this race. So yeah, absolutely awesome stuff there, guys. So there we are. This is our currently the current podiums there. So we got Wolf Matiska P1 there. So Varela have taken P2, Lara taken P3, Lamas taken P4, Zeman for P5, Villa for P6, Springer taken P7, Turkey taken P8. Stantek's taken P9, Quirk taken P10. So there we are for the race. So, to be honest, I have to say that was a pretty interesting race, wasn't it? I mean, obviously, we're going to expect obviously a couple of incidents here and there, especially Monza with these cars anyhow. But, you know, I mean, yeah, come on, guys. I mean, that was an absolute awesome race all the way through, wasn't it? You know, non-stop action. You know, great to see the pit strategy sort of mix up the grid positions as well come the end. So, yeah, we had some fantastic battles. So, what do you guys say about this?
Well, all you have to do, as I'm catching my breath, is look at that top 5. You got Wolf Matushka winning it. You got Varela second, Lara third, Jose Llamas in 4th place. And then you got Zeman in 5th. That's the top 5. It's, wow, what a race. They were so close the entire time for so many positions. It was just impossible to follow it all, but we did our best. But holy cow, can we do a season of that, please?
I'm sure we can sort something out there. It's got the Porsche Cup on Mondays. I think so. Sorry, I did say there's only one round. I think we've got one round this Monday, tomorrow, and another round the week after, and that's the final. So yeah, it's the final 2 rounds of the Porsche Cup, I believe, is what Stephen told me. Yeah, so I guess we will be looking to obviously do a championship with these cars at some point, because they have sort of put on a pretty good show, haven't they, for these Cup cars? I think, you know, having the same sort of cars in a race, you know, really sort of mixes things up a bit, because then, you know, you haven't got the advantages with the different BOPs on the different GT3 cars and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I do enjoy these sort of cup races there. So there is our current podium winner there. So Wolf flashing his lights there. So well done, Wolf. Been absolutely awesome to see you obviously take the win today. So we did was all rooting for you, but obviously I didn't want to give you the commentator's curse. I'm sure George didn't either, so that's why we sort of kept it to ourselves.
I mean, I wanted to mention that, but at the same time, Paco Lara started in 6th. I called him as my race victor. A podium position for him in 3rd. More than proud of my pick there. So well done to Wolf Matushka, of course. And I just wanted to say these cup cars versus the Porsche cars, you don't get to see the round the outside overtaking at Monza in a Porsche Cup car like that. I mean, I think it would honestly just murder you. These cars gave us phenomenal door-to-door racing, and I can't wait for some more.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely awesome stuff. So yeah, again, guys, thank you very much for obviously coming on to watch the stream. I said unfortunately we did lose a stream halfway through. Something just went wrong. I don't know what went wrong with us, but we got ourselves back up and running again quick enough. But yeah, obviously we had an awesome race today. So yeah, definitely going to be looking to do some more cup car races with these Super Trofeo cars. Can't even speak now, can't get my words out. So yeah, so thanks again, guys. We will actually be back again on Monday with the Porsche Cup. So tomorrow we'll be back with the Porsche Cup. So the guys will be doing that. Oh, sorry, not Monday. Sorry, it'll be the next Monday, actually. I'm getting confused with the dates and the times because obviously clocks have gone back and Yeah, it's getting all mixed up here, isn't it, at the moment, with us all changing over to summer times, daylight saving times. But anyway, I have to say thank you, Ryan, obviously for your commentating your live stream today as well. So awesome stuff there with the penalties. I think you've done a very good job there. Yeah, Jesse and George, you guys, absolutely awesome to obviously be here today, obviously to commentate with me. So yeah, awesome stuff. So yeah, thanks guys for obviously coming to do that.
Always a pleasure.
Absolutely love joining you guys.
Thank you very much. Right. Anyway, so that's it then, guys. We're going to call it a night tonight. So thanks for coming along, guys, and we will see you again very soon. So good night.